Hey, Shalom, Makim Shalom. First and foremost, as always, I would like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachakudash. Double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders of Great Millstone that taught us this truth and that still teaching this truth. And much peace, love, and salutation to the elect, beginning with 144,000, all the way down to the large multitude that believes and who the Lord will deliver in these last days. To you all, I say Shalom. I'm the brother Tazamah from the Great Millstone Dallas camp, coming back today with another quick lesson. And Lord willing, today this lesson will be edifying. And I want to do a lesson on this article that you see, I rather say, on the screen. I haven't had the opportunity to read it, but I just seen the title of the article as well as the picture, and ultimately, immediate precepts came to mind, like initially, like a Revelation, the 20th chapter, Isaiah the 13th chapter, Isaiah 34, so on and so forth. There's various different other prophecies and various different other chapters that came to my mind as I seen the photo and seen the title of the article, because we're living in the times, I rather say, where these prophecies, these last some prophecies are going to unfold. Okay, and they are unfolding as we speak. Okay, you have all hell getting ready to break loose. Civil unrest going on here in America as well as these various different nations. And then you have the mandatory implementation of the MOTB. Okay, which that's the next major prophecy that we have our eyes and our radar on, because we understand and know once the MOTB is fully mandated, that's when the Lord is going to ultimately bring forth the judgment of World War III. All right, and I'd rather say when World War III actually turns into a hot war. Okay, because World War III has already pretty much started, but it hasn't really gotten to the point where as missiles started flying yet. And once that MOTB is made mandatory, all right, that's going to be a clear sign for us, those of us that are in the know, and those of us that have the understanding, that the Lord is getting ready to destroy this place. And he's going to use Russia, China, Iran, okay, South Africa, as well as these NATO and EU nations as well, to bring forth fire upon the great whore, which is America. Okay, so we're going to read this article. And I pray that Yahweh B'Shem Shai provides me with the precepts necessary to make this lesson edifying. So the title reads, it says, the Russians are about to lower their threshold for nuking the West. What does that mean for us? Okay, and that's really the Lord ultimately putting the hooks back into the jaws of Gog and Magog, getting them into that warlike spirit, which they've been in this spirit, I rather say, for really, like, I'll say heavily for like the past 10 to 15 years. You've been seeing Russia more and more prominent on the news. Okay, because the Lord is going to use these Russians, which is Gog and Magog, which is Gog from the land of Gog, okay, to bring forth judgment upon the beast. Really the beast, right? This is Ezekiel chapter 38, verse I'm going to jump around in this chapter. This is Ezekiel 38, verse 1. It says, and the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshach, the chief prince, which when you get that word Russia, is Ra'asha, which literally means chief prince. Let you know that this is talking about Russia in the spirit. All right, it says the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and prophesy against him, and say, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws. Now, what does it mean to put hooks into the jaws of someone? Okay, well, let's get the Hebrew here. It says, I will turn thee back. That word, turn back, is shawab. I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws. That word hook is chak. Okay, I'll put hooks into thy jaw. And it says in jaws of crocodile, metaphor of Pharaoh. Go down here, hook or ring. It says hook, ring, and nose of captives. So when you put a hook in somebody's jaw, or you put a hook or a ring in somebody's nose, it's letting you know that person is captive unto you. You see, because the Lord ultimately is the one that's controlling these various different nations to do what they're doing upon the planet Earth. Okay, it's really Yahweh B'Shem Shai is doing when it's all said and done. As the scripture says, what is that in Psalm Psalm 75, I want to say it is. It's Psalm 75 and 8. See, it's 75 or 8 or 78 and 5. One of those. Let me see. Right, this is Psalm 75, verse 6. It says, "For promotion cometh neither from the east, nor from the west, nor from the south. But the Most High, Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, is the judge. He putteth down one and setteth up another." You see, so the Lord is the one that controls, you know, the movements of these different nations, the minds of these different kings, as it says in Proverbs 21. The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. He turneth it whithersoever he will. Okay? So when you see these different nations rising up and, you know, doing particular things according to prophecy, we understand and know that it's Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah ultimately at the end of the day, bringing forth the actions upon the planet Earth. Like the scripture says, through him, the actions are weighed. Okay? It says, back in verse 4, it says, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and will bring thee forth, right? And all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. You see that? And those swords is going to be the various different weapons that are going to be used, which is ultimately going to be the ICBM thermonuclear missiles, man. Which these missiles that they have now, you know, they have the technology to, you know, a missile can be shot from a silo in Russia, and it could reach America in pretty much under 30 minutes, man. You know, and then the missiles, the magnitude and the power of these missiles that they got now, you know, they could do some, it could do some massive damage, man. That's why the scripture says that, you know, in Isaiah the 9th chapter, that this shall be this war is going to be with burning and fuel of fire, man. Okay, so it says, if you are determined to push a bear into a corner, which that's Russia's emblem is a bear, and when you read in Revelation 13 chapter, it says that the beast had the feet of a bear, letting you know that this is how this beast system is going to fall. It's going to fall through the Lord using Russia, chiefly, all right, as well as its allies. So it says, if you are determined to push a bear into a corner, you better know what you're doing. It says right now, Ukraine is begging the Biden administration to allow it to use long-range missiles provided by the United States to strike targets deep inside of Russia. Because ultimately, what would that do? If they use long-range missiles, all right, that were provided by the United States to shoot into Russia, that can pretty much be looked at as an attack of that could be looked at as an attack by America on Russian soil. You see, and now you already have these different NATO nations, you know, that are on the outskirts of Russia. You see, but that's the Lord setting them up to do that. That's the Lord ultimately setting them up to get ready for battle. Okay? There's a lot of madness going on in these streets, man. You know what I'm saying? Just it's a whole truck completely flipped around on the highway. Man, there's judgment going out here, man. Goodness gracious. Wow. It says, since the Ukrainians have eventually gotten just about everything else that they've wanted from us, they will probably get approval for this at some point too. So how do you think the Russians will respond if missiles that are provided by the United States start falling in the major cities and killing innocent civilians? Do you think that the Russians may consider us to be responsible? And the answer is yes. You see? And that's when realistically the least of the flock is going to draw them out. And that least of the flock is talking about Israel. You see? But you do have these particular skirmishes between Russia and Ukraine, which that's been going on for how long now? Like really, like shit, that's been going on for about almost like pretty much like 3 years now, if I'm not mistaken. You know, you have the skirmishes between Israel and Iran, Israel and Hamas, Israel and Hezbollah, Palestine and Israel. You know, you have a lot of these different skirmishes taking place. You see, but this is what the Lord said. He said that there will be wars and there will be rumors of wars. Okay, this is Matthew the 24th chapter, verse 6. It says, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. Right? It says, see that ye be not troubled. For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. So these things have to happen, okay? But the end is not necessarily here yet. We know and understand that whenever that MOTB is mandatory and pushed worldwide, that's how we know that the end is pretty much here. Okay, now we are at the end. Don't get it twisted, but you know what I'm saying. Okay, we know that that's when any moment, you know, Yahweh Shai is going to crack them clouds and deliver his elect, and we hope to be a part of that number. You know, because this destruction that the Lord is getting ready to bring is going to be completely devastating upon the planet Earth, man. Particularly here in America. All right, verse 7, it says, "For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places," which we're seeing all these things in precedent. You have all various different kinds of pestilences that are floating around now, all at the same time. You have earthquake after earthquake taking place. You know, you got signs in the heavens. There's going to be a super moon as well as a ring of fire eclipse. You know, another one that's not going to be seen here in the Americas, but I believe it's going to be seen somewhere in the islands, if I'm not mistaken. You know, we're pretty much coming to an end of the day of the memorial of the blowing of the trumpets here at sundown. You know, we have the Day of Atonement, you know, coming up on the 11th, Lord willing, that the Lord allows us to make it to that day. So the Lord is like, man, the Lord is preparing us for something major, man. Okay. So going back to the article, it says right now the Russians are reviewing their rules for using nuclear weapons, and it is expected that they will lower the threshold for their use. Okay, let's click this article and see what it says here. It says Vladimir Putin threatens World War III as he reveals plan that he could lower threshold for using nukes. Okay, and that's in the nuclear missiles, that these nuclear missiles that are being created, the Sarmat 2, which is the Sarmat missile, also known as the Satan 2, you know, the Cesar bomb, you know, all these particular weapons that these nations are making. That's really the Lord making these weapons. It's the Lord putting it in their minds to make these weapons, man. Okay, let's get that in Isaiah the 54th chapter. All right. This is Isaiah the 54th chapter, and whenever it loads up, which I've been having issues, it's been a lot. I don't know any other brothers, you know, have been experiencing this, but man, Blue Letter has been bugging out lately, a whole lot more than usual. All right, so this is Isaiah 54, verse 16. It says, "Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire." All right, the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire. All right, you would have an ancient blacksmith. All right, that will build weapons. They will build spears. They will build swords. They will build shields, darts, arrows, and things of that nature. And they would that's what their job was. They were called smiths. So it says, "Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work. And I have created the waster to destroy." Now, what's the waster that the Lord is going to use to destroy? He's going to use these ICBM thermonuclear missiles, man. Let's get that word waster. All right, that word waster is shachath. Okay, I've created the waster to destroy. Okay, and that word waster here says destroyer. You know, destroyer. And it's heavy because you see that word angel there too, because the angels are also used. The angels are also going to be used. All right, the Lord is going to send forth the angels to destroy as well too. Mind you, it's the angels. Remember, the Lord has 4 angels in the Euphrates holding back the 4 winds so that they don't blow upon the earth. So once the angels let loose the winds, which is the destruction, that's going to be it. Letting you know that these missiles and this destruction is going to be completely guided by Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Rachakudash. Okay? It says spoil, ruin. And that's what these missiles are going to do. It's going to spoil America. Okay? It's going to ruin Babylon the Great. Okay? Continuing on. It says, verse 17, let's read this too. It says, "No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper." And this is talking to the elect. You see, because in the midst of this destruction, while this destruction is taking place, okay, and the fire is going to be, the bosom of destruction is going to be sweeping through America, okay, the elect are going to be delivered and saved out of the destruction. You see, that's why it says, no weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper, and every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment, thou shalt condemn. And you see that happening right now. Okay, we ultimately are condemning via the spirit and power of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua through the spirit. You see, this is the heritage of the servants of Yahweh, and their righteousness is of me, saith Yahweh. So your righteousness can't be of your own self. Okay, but that doesn't mean that you can just do whatever the hell you want to do and expect the Lord to have mercy on you, as these wacky tacky Christians believe. Okay, you show forth your faith by your works. So the Lord gonna put the spirit upon the elect, okay, to act a certain kind of way. So it says, Vladimir Putin threatens World War III as he reveals plan that could lower threshold for using nukes. It says Putin has warned that defeat for Russia would mean the end of Russia's statehood, possibly a subtle justification for the use of nuclear weapons. And you have something called MAD, which is an acronym, which means mutually assured destruction. So if you have one nation that shoots off a nuclear ICBM nuclear missile, mutually assured destruction means that before our country is destroyed, your country going to be destroyed too. And that means that pretty much everybody's just going to start shooting off their missiles. You know? And I want to say that the Russians have something called Operation Dead Hand, if I'm not mistaken, to whereas if one of their supreme leaders, let's say Vladimir Putin, ends up getting assassinated or something like that, then they end up getting assassinated. If they detect any kind of missile, their missiles will automatically just start shooting off on their own. So that lets you know that the Lord ultimately is in control. Okay? It says, I'm not going to read this whole article. It says, World War III fears have exploded with Vladimir Putin set to change Russia's doctrine for nuclear weapons that could see him lower the threshold for their use. Russia's nuclear weapons policy, devised in 2020, says that Moscow can use their weapons if they are attacked by an enemy or the existence of the state of Russia comes under threat. So now the threshold for these stipulations are going to be lowered now. You see that? So if Moscow, the only way that they could use their weapons according to what was devised back in 2020 is if they're attacked by an enemy or the existence of the state of Russia, Mother Russia, right, comes under threat. That's when they can use those missiles. It says, however, some in Russia are urging Putin to lower the threshold for nuclear weapons use. You see, so now the use of nuclear weapons threshold is going to be set lower. Why? Because the Lord has a determination. He has a determination against this place. I think there's a scripture that says that his determination. Let me see if I can find it. Determination. Yep, well, this is a good one. Zephaniah 3:8, it says, therefore wait ye upon me, saith Yahweh, until the day that I rise up to the prey. And that's why we're to wait upon Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, as he said. Remember, not to gather arms and try to fight against the will of the Lord. No, we're to wait upon the Lord. At the end of the day, the Lord's going to be the one that's going to change us. He's going to be the one that's going to take these nations down. It says, for my determination, right, his will is to gather the nations, that I may assemble the kingdoms to pour upon them mine indignation. You see, which the Lord is gathering them now in the valley of Jehoshaphat, or Yahweh Shaphat, which means what? Yahweh Shaphat is the Lord, Yahweh's judgment. And you see these different nations being gathered together, okay, in the Levant region, ultimately for the grand showdown. It says, for all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy. Now, does this mean that the whole earth is going to be destroyed? No, it doesn't mean that the whole earth is going to be destroyed. Now, the earth is going to rock to and fro like a drunkard, you know, but I want to say that when you get that word earth, it's probably ratazah, which means land, all the land, and I'll devour all the land of my with the fire of my jealousy. You see, ratazah, which means land. And that land is going to be completely devoured. It's talking about Babylon the Great, America. All right. So it says World War III fears have exploded with Vladimir Putin set to change Russia's yada yada yada. I just read that. Okay, let's continue. It says, needless to say, this would bring us even closer to nuclear war. Why is it going to bring the America even closer to nuclear war? Well, we just read it. It's the Lord's determination. This is the Lord's purpose. The matter of fact, that's another scripture. It's in Jeremiah. The purposes that he has against Babylon. It's either Jeremiah 50 or Jeremiah 51. Purpose, Babylon, or it's either purposes. Okay, this is Jeremiah 49. I'm sorry, Jeremiah 51. And I'm gonna start up a little bit. This is the Lord's purpose. At the end of the day, America's not gonna last forever. We're not gonna sit here and get to the year 3000. No. Okay, the Lord's purpose is to destroy this place. Okay, Jeremiah 51 verse 28. It says, "Prepare against her." Against who? Against Babylon. That's that her. Prepare against her the nations with the kings of the Medes. Now, who are the kings of the Medes today? The kings of the Medes today is talking about Russia. Okay, because when you look at an ancient map of where the ancient Medes were, all right, it's in the land of where it's pretty much in the land or the region where Russia is today. But you gotta know whenever you gotta be spiritually discerned to understand if it's talking about the actual Medes or is it talking about Russia. Okay, so it says, prepare against her the nations with the kings of the Medes, the captains thereof, and all the rulers thereof, and all the rulers thereof, and all the land of his dominion, and the land shall tremble in sorrow, for the purpose of Yahweh shall be performed against Babylon. You see that? Let's get that word purpose. The purpose of the Lord shall be prepared against Babylon, right? That word purpose is machshabah. The root word is chashab. So you have chashaba. Okay? You got chashaba. The Lord's thought is his device or his plans. Okay? This is the Lord's plan for America. Ain't gonna be no God bless America. Well, the Lord is gonna bless America with fire. Okay, it says the purpose of the Most High. Right? It says the thought. It's a thought of the Most High. And who can resist his will? Who can turn away the wrath of the Lord? You know, whenever his arm is stretched out, who can turn it away? Okay? So going back, I didn't get a chance to finish that verse. Okay, it says, verse 29, it says, and the land shall tremble in sorrow. Okay, and that land is talking about here, man. Because at that time, everybody's dreams and aspirations and things of that nature, all that shit gonna be gone. You see, the elect are gonna be beamed up. Because when they hear that alert that the missiles got shot off, that's gonna be it. Okay? And the land shall tremble in sorrow, for the purpose of Yahweh shall be performed against Babylon, to make the land of Babylon a desolation without an inhabitant. Which lets you know that this Babylon here is talking about, it's not talking about ancient Babylon. It's talking about this place here, because you go to the land of Babylon today, there's still people walking around and moving there. Hell, you can go, you can fly there right now if you want to. It wouldn't be the smartest option. It wouldn't be the smartest choice, but you can still do it. Let you know that it's talking about another Babylon. Okay? It says, needless to say, this will bring us even closer to nuclear war. Okay? It says, once the first nuke is used, it's just a matter of time before there's a full-blown exchange between the United States and Russia. You see? And that's what I said. That's what I mentioned, I'd rather say, about mutually assured destruction. And just to look it up, just so y'all can see, you know, let's take a look at it. Mutually assured destruction. It says mutually assured destruction, which acronym is MAD. MAD, that's heavy, right? Is a military strategy and national security policy that assumes that if one nuclear armed nation attacks another, both will be destroyed. There ain't gonna be no rising up out the ashes. Okay? The idea is that the threat of a nuclear attack by one country will deter the other from attacking first. You see, but the scriptures say that the Lord is going to put an evil thought into their mind. Okay, like it says in Ezekiel 38. Okay, Ezekiel 38, verse 10. It says, "Thus saith the Lord Yahweh." Okay, it shall also come to pass that at the same time shall things come into thy mind, and thou shalt think an evil thought, and that evil thought's going to be to ultimately shoot missiles. Okay, it's going to be to shoot. It's going to be just to let they missiles fly, right? And thou shalt say, I will go up to the land of unwalled villages, which the land of unwalled villages is not talking about the land of Israel. The land of unwalled villages is talking about America. You see, and you can link this precept up with Isaiah the 13th chapter. Their silver or their gold is not going to be able to get them out of this predicament. It doesn't mean that Russia physically has to march to a land. No, the way that they can reach a land of unwalled villages is by way of their missiles, man. Remember, that's an army as well too. When you get unwalled villages, that word unwalled, it says that word is powerwazium. The word is the root is paraz, but you got powerwazium. It says open region, hamlet, unwalled village, open country. And what makes a country open is if it doesn't have any gates or bars. You see? And the root word is paraz, which means chieftain, leader, warrior, meaning dubious. All right, well, the meaning is dubious, but a chieftain, leader, or warrior. All right, so it says, and thou shalt say, I will go up to the land of unwalled villages. I will go to them that are at rest. Okay, let's get that word rest real quick here. I will go to them that are at rest. And these Americans are in complete rest. When I say rest, they're in complete zombified Dumbo mode, man. These people have no idea what the hell is going on around them. They feel as if nothing bad can happen to them. They live in America. America can't be touched. That's how these people truly think. And that word rest is shakwat, which means to be quiet. Okay. It says to be quiet or undisturbed. You see, America's undisturbed. They see, just because there's turmoil going on in Palestine and turmoil going on in these regions worldwide, so just because it hasn't touched America, these people have gotten to a sense of pride, to a height of pride, to whereas they feel that they can never be brought down. And that's the pride of Esau, Edom. Peace and security. Does not the scripture say, when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction shall come upon them as a woman in travail? You see, I will go to them that are at rest, that dwell safely, all of them dwelling without walls. Because what do walls do? Walls defend your city. And when you look at America's missile defense system, I want to say it's like one of the worst. Like they haven't had an upgrade since like the 1970s, if I'm not mistaken. America, well, hold on. Yeah, I think I'm done with this. Let's say America missile defense system not upgraded since 1970s. Let's see if it pops up this way. You see that 40 years after Reagan, neglected U.S. missile defense is dangerously... Let's read this. Let's look at the title. 40 years after Reagan, neglected U.S. missile defense is dangerously obsolete. 40 years after Ronald Reagan. You see? Letting you know that when these, like, America's missile defense systems is not, you know what I'm saying, is not the greatest. Just want to look at this. The 1970s ICBM window of vulnerability still lingers. It says something about Russia on there. Let's see. The disastrous U.S. approach to strategic missile defense. It's disastrous, man. You see? That's why these missiles are going to hit their mark, man. I truly believe America's missile defense systems is not going to work. You know, I think the Lord just going to completely just shut them down. You know? What was I reading? Yeah, that's it on Ezekiel 38, right? So let's go back here because I actually got to get ready to wrap it up. You read that about the mutually assured destruction. It says, according to Deputy Foreign Minister Sergei Ryabkov, saying that correctly, the work to update the rules for using nuclear weapons has reached an advanced stage. Let's see here. It says Putin said in June the doctrine was a living instrument that could change depending on world events, and now Deputy Foreign Minister Sergei Ryabkov appears to have confirmed that work on a new document outlining adjustments is underway. All right, there's really nothing in there. Let's see. This certainly doesn't mean that a nuclear war is imminent. Well, a nuclear war is on the way. That's the purpose. We read it in the scriptures. It's the purposes of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua to destroy Babylon. But we are heading in that direction. Okay? And when you go down, it just goes into pretty much, the missiles, like for example, the Sarmat missile, the unstoppable 15,880 mile per hour intercontinental missile system, known to Russians as Sarmat, which is the Satan missile. The size of a 14-story tower block. That's a big missile. A single Sarmat missile can carry enough firepower. One single Sarmat missile. Check this out. A single Sarmat missile can carry enough firepower to wipe out an entire area the size of Texas. One Sarmat missile. One of them. Do y'all understand how big Texas is? Big than a hoe. Texas is huge. Texas is extremely big. You see, and one Sarmat missile has a capability of taking out land the size of Texas. So what do you think? What do you think 200 million nuclear warheads is going to do to America? And how do you think that America is going to be destroyed in 1 hour? Well, there you go. There you go. They don't just have one Sarmat missile. And we don't have anything that can stop it. That's why the scriptures talk about how they're going to hit their mark. Okay? Let's get Joel the second chapter, actually. Joel 2. Let's see. Joel 2 and 7. And when you get this chapter, okay, when you get this chapter, this is talking about the missiles, all right? It says, they shall run like mighty men. Talking about the missiles. They shall climb the wall like men of war. And they shall march every one on his ways. And they shall not break their ranks. You see, they're not going to break their rank. They're not going to be shot out. They're not going to be shot out the firmament. Okay? That's not going to happen. You ain't going to have random missiles just falling. Now, they can have it to where some missiles fall in the sea and create a tsunami. They do have weapons. They do have weaponry whereas a missile can go off underwater and create a tidal wave. They do have that weapon. You see, it says, neither shall one thrust another. They shall walk every one in his path, and when they fall upon the sword, they shall not be wounded. And I want to say, when you get this word sword here, shalach, weapon, missile. You see that right there? Letting you know that this is talking about the missiles. And they don't have anything that they can do to stop it. Why? Because it's a determination of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem HaKakodash, to wipe out Babylon the Great. You see that? Boom, here it is right there. Like I said, I didn't read this article before. Meanwhile, the core of the U.S. strategic nuclear arsenal is made up of hopelessly outdated Minuteman missiles that first went into service in the 1970s. That's their primary stockhold of their missiles, man. From the 1970s. You see? So, man, this article is like literally saying everything. Most people in the Western world still assume that we are protected by the magical doctrine of mutually assured destruction. But are you sure that doctrine still applies in an environment where the balance of power has shifted so dramatically? See that? So, like I said, I actually got to go, man. I'm a Lord willing put this link in the description box. I pray this was edifying to the elect of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem HaKakodash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders, a great millstone that taught us this truth and that's what teaching this truth. And as always, much peace, love, and salutation to the elect. Until the next time, Lord willing, I say shalom.